I know, back-to-back videos. Can you believe it? But you know what that means. Back-to-back pastries. At the February Rep Council meeting, the treasurer presented the 2025-2026 SAEA budget. And there's one particular item that causes me some confusion. And so this video is just about breaking down what I'm confused by and hoping to produce some transparency and some answers to some critical questions that I think we as members of our union are entitled to clarification on, because we're talking big dollars here. I want to attract your attention to the bottom of the page where you'll notice line item 6485, which I've highlighted in yellow, titled Officer Release, under the 2025-2026 column, budgeted is $75,000. You'll also notice that $75,000 was budgeted last year for 2024 as well. So what is this category identified as officer release? It specifically refers to an additional person beyond the president who is released from the classroom and will serve the union membership at the office for the school year. So the person's removed from their teaching duties, and their duty is to work at the union office. This is a position that historically has not been utilized by a union president. It's very rare. However, under the current president's leadership, every year of that leadership, there has been a person serving in this role. This is the second full-time release position. So do you see why I'm a little bit confused? The treasurer has budgeted $75,000 already for filling this position next year. So it's only February. Have we already determined who's going to be in this position next year? But also, this was $75,000 budgeted for this year. So we know someone is already filling that position this year. Do they have an automatic right to return to that position next year? But that's not what confuses me. What I'm confused with is, why is the amount of money that's budgeted only $75,000? Seems like a lot, but we know that for a teacher's salary, it's not that much. And so the person getting this position, who you would assume is the very best person possible in the entire school district, right? They don't even have to win an election. We just should be appointing the very best person. So we know that person makes more than $75,000 a year. But if only $75,000 is budgeted, where is the rest of the salary coming from? Here's the CBA attracting your attention to Article 4.6.1. We see that any release time requested by the association for a unit member in excess of the release time provided in Section 4.7, which is the president. So release time for person beyond the president, you'll notice this last sentence, the per diem cost will be billed to the respective organization. In other words, it's us. We are paying for it. But when I look over the budget that's been presented, I just don't see where the rest of the salary is being budgeted, where that money's being sent to cover. And so what I think would be the case is, if the treasurer were to explain to us where that other money is, I don't think they're hiding it in some other category so that we don't see how expensive the full-time second release person is. And a simple search on Transparent California makes it clear that that person is making much closer to double that amount. So it looks like the union is paying half. And so what I think the treasurer would say, what he would tell us, is that there's actually an MOU that the union leadership has worked out, an MOU for the district, with the district, to cover half of the salary of the full-time release. And I think that's actually a bigger problem than if the money was just being put into some other category. So let me explain why I think an MOU is actually a bigger problem, because it means that the leadership team was actually able to bargain for themselves under the concept of it being for all of us, another full-time release to hang out at the office with them, not just this year and not just for next year, but ever since they've been in power. And we see next year and this year and last year, those 3 years, well, this person's actually been for 2 years, that's 75,000 times 4, that's almost $300,000. And think about when this MOU was bargained in the past, when they weren't able to bargain for us the continuation of the 30 hours, when they couldn't bargain for us higher than the 3% raise that was being offered by the school district, even though they went to 6 mediations. But boy, they sure were good at bargaining, if this was an MOU, to get the district to pay for half of this release. And if this was an MOU, think about the hypocrisy at play here. This is coming at a time when the union is arguing that there should be 0 layoffs, no RIFs, but they themselves have signed an MOU which has taken $200,000 to $300,000 of district money that can't have been used for teacher retention, so that they could have an additional person hanging out at the union offices. They claim that the district had overstaffed, but sounds like if this was an MOU that the union was overstaffed, has been overstaffed, and is planning to overstaff into the future. But maybe I'm just an idiot and don't know how to read a budget. Maybe the person is only working a half contract, and maybe this is the full amount, the $75,000. But even if it's only $75,000 that our union dues are paying, do you feel you've gotten that kind of work out of this position? A position you didn't even know existed. Not like this person is making reports, but another concern about this is this person just isn't full-time release. They're also organizing chair. They're also on the bargaining team, and they're a segment director. I would think that this position of full-time release, I would think that should be the full-time position. But this person's also now running for secretary. So if you feel like there's a lot more free time available, that this person can also do all those things and run for secretary, then why are we paying for them to be full-time release? But this is exactly what happens when you've turned our union into a private club. You don't want to hear alternative points of view. You don't want to hear different points of view. You need to have an echo chamber. So maybe the treasurer can explain, this is the double chocolate, can explain to us what's going on. Is it an MOU? Are we paying the full thing? How does it make any sense for our finances? Are we overstaffed? Do we need a third release person? Because the district seems to be kicking our ass at every turn. Maybe we need a 4th release person. I don't know, maybe definitely need a 3rd brownie, that's for sure. But maybe the release person. I mean, come on, she's running for secretary. Maybe she could tell us why she has so much free time to do all these positions, but yet still be full-time release also, which means full-time. This is double chocolate. You see the first layer and the second layer.